what is happening in the world now and how we can understand it and where it's leading and what information we have. Just in a sort of a few minutes, just in a nutshell, not very much in detail. Viewpoint of Mahadasha and Tardasha. The Mahadasha that we have now is Bud, and the Antardasha that we have is Shukra until October, okay, according to the Jagat Kundali. Now, what this means? Well, the word trade, the word communication will be key, and the world of fast-moving and events ruled by Bud will be on the rise and will have a big importance in world events. And there'll be lots of, especially when you have a Mahadasha or a period, one Tardasha, and then you have the planet on Gochar, on transit in a specific situation, both together, then the event is very strong. We have seen on the month of June or July, Bud being retrograde in a difficult transit, and that makes communications difficult, makes some tensions, makes some difficulties in the trade in the world, for example. And we are seeing all that. Now, when we look at it from the viewpoint of the Gochars, what is the Gochar situation in this moment? In this moment, we have Shani and Ketu in Dhanus. And that's a very powerful combination that is the whole year. And of course, they are looking to Rahu, from where Mangal has just passed and is together with Surya for the next 4 months. They are just racing together. So what this means, you see, you can interpret that in terms of countries or world trends. If we look at it in terms of world trends, what this means is that there is a polarity, there is a combination of two things. One thing is concern and some confrontational values, which they are ruled mainly by the values of Shani and Ketu, which brings obstacles, confrontation, and fear, with the quickly moving planets and the transformations of Rahu and these combinations of Mangal, which represents also Guru is in this moment. Guru is going to be from the 11th of August. Is going to be direct. It's retrograde at the moment, and he is in Brishak. And what represents is that gives a positive note of consciousness. So the polarity in the world consciousness is confrontations and concerns with a great expansion of consciousness and quick transformation. When you see the overall perception, like a helicopter view. Now, if you see Shani and Ketu, whom we said that Shani and Ketu rule, as we said, is China. Yes, of course. So, and Rahu, who it is, is USA. And we are seeing a very intense, and we say Buddha is straight. So you are seeing in this moment a very intense situation, an increased world tension in the field of trade between US and China that, of course, is affecting other places. Shani with Ketu, they do not only rule China, but they have China goes very well with that, from Mao Zedong, the revolution, they all follow this very nicely. But also rules, for example, Iran, and also rules Venezuela. So as you see them lively in world tension, and you see confronted with Rahu of the US. And then when you see, for example, Mangal just crossing through Rahu, they have been together with great tension, and then they have been looking to Shani and Ketu, and that is the situation of the Brexit in the UK, because that Shani Mangal, we were saying, is the United Kingdom. And now we see this Surya and together with Mangal, after crossing through Rahu, in the next 4 months together. So it means the United Kingdom is going to live 4 months of tension in this situation. So you can see that if you take blocks of countries or you get general trends, you can then see one thing, which is how natural law plays its rules and delivers the karmas and delivers the reaction through the well events in the same way that does through an individual, which is something that is very, very special. Now, where this is going, we have two difficult eclipses, which the eclipse, you have the eclipse, but they close circles until the next eclipse in December. So we are heading to a period that goes from this we have had in June, July, very intense first week of August, one of the very deeply intense week, and then going up to December. Only the good thing is that Guru is in a good position and is becoming now direct from the 11th of August and is going to help us to balance this, not automatically in the month of August, but gradually we are going to see it. And what this means, what all these events is telling us, the world is in a very deep transformation. This transformation means as the people thinks, also nature happens. We are saying in some areas of the world, when is this type of fearful and strong tendencies, the thoughts and the fear will be there. So we'll also see events in nature parallel to that. Wherever there is an earthquake, wherever there is an eruption, wherever there is some flood or very strong hurricane, is not unrelated to the way that the people is thinking. And the people is thinking according to these grahas. So the world will experience these polarities during all this year. But we will be seeing that the consciousness tendencies, because this guru is getting more powerful, are going to grow and grow. So there'll be more appreciation for consciousness, more openness to consciousness, while at the same time there is concern and a fast transformation. So we are basically all moving. And none of the leaders of the world, even if they think they are leading the world, they know where this is going, because the time has its own propulsion and is using the leaders to deliver trends and events when you look at it from the viewpoint of Maharishi Jyoti's world prediction. When we have looked many times what is happening later, it's very interesting that from the Vedic Puranic evaluation of time, from the Maharishi Jyotish and from the cycles, that we are heading into a cycle after these very strong transformations that happen until 2020, where life is going to experience a new quality, which is, you don't find these cycles in 500 years or more of the civilization as we know. And they have very positive elements. So where we are at the maybe last 2-3 years of a very deep phase transition with a growth of consciousness, with a lot of instability and concern, because the transformation is very fast, going to a completely new time that is perceived by Maharishi Jotish as one time unique, that has not a parallel, definitely not in the last centuries. And that gives us the idea that even we are moving fast, a totally new time is coming where the balance of power, the way of thinking, and the race of consciousness is going to be much more plain different than what we see now. And that is, in short, because I was supposed to talk to you only 10-15 minutes, what I wanted to tell you about, if you have some specific question, but Maharishi Jotish is nourished by Maharishi Yagya, and the work of Maharishi Yagya is to balance these tendencies and make the progress smoother in the direction that is going. The world is going to be a different world, totally different than the one that we have seen. And the balance of power, relations, and concepts is going to be totally changed. And we are just the witness of a huge transformation, and we are fortunate to witness it, to be part of it, and to be able to see to rise to a totally new quality of life. And that is not only the prediction of the Maharishi Jotish, that is the prediction of all the world astrologers when they see the cycles and they see that we don't have a precedent one in the past. So that's what I wanted to say. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, thank you so much, Rajalis. It's very helpful. You've shown us how the chart is created, and you've given us some insights into some specific events and how you can see those with reference to the governing planets for different countries and the transits of those planets in the sky and so on. And you've given us great hope for the future, that all this, because it is a concern in the world, the way the world news is dominated by the turbulence that's going on at the moment, and you think, is it going to just keep getting more and more out of hand? We see the situation, the way Iran is being goaded by the Western powers, and you think, well, what's that going to lead to? Is China suddenly going to wake up and get aggressive in its own area? It has by far the biggest military power in the whole world, the maximum number of troops under arms and so on, and are they going to use that? So you've given us hope that it's all going to work out well. Can you take a few questions? We're from our side, I think we're more than delighted to have you a little longer if that's convenient for you.
Yeah, I can take 2-3 questions if that is all right. Yeah.
Yes, okay, so people will come to the microphone and ask their questions.
Jai Gurudev. 2 things. Can you explain what is the indication that is coming that only appears perhaps once every 500 years? And also, there's a little delicate point, February 2020, when Mangal Ketu come together in Mula Nakshatra. Is it Mula? But it's a delicate time in that February time frame, and I'm wondering if you can comment on that.
See, what happens is we do have some big delicate moments, still this year and next year. And of course, Mula Nakshatra is a nakshatra that is delicate. We all know that the father of Ram, Dasara, was very concerned about Mula Nakshatra, and he prayed when Shani was going to go there to don't come so his kingdom will be safe. And it's an example in the Ramayana of how important is that passage. But you see, you have to look the events as a whole, not just a specific thing, because astrology, the Maharishi Jotish, doesn't work. A specific event, it could happen, but it has the combination of events. And there is a lot of well-consciousness building up in Guru. And Guru is going to create positive trends. When it looks is getting very bad, suddenly something good is happening, or is softening it up. And we are going to see that one time after the other. Like, wow, it's getting so bad. Oh, suddenly it's getting better. It's getting so bad. Oh, suddenly it's getting better. Why? Because this is the nature of this fast transition. And I will send you, if you are interested, the text of the Purans that describes this period and why it says they call it Ramraj. So in the next 2-3 years. And what combination of grahas does this, and you will see how it matches exactly the next transit in the next 2 years. But the thing that is more people that they don't know about Vedic tradition, like great astrologers for well astrologists, like the Belgium school, which is the best one. They have done those predictions years ago, same as the Vedic tradition independently, and they developed a very sophisticated statistic analysis of the cycles, of the US cycle, Russia cycle, Europe cycle, China cycle, and developing world cycles. And you can see when they made the projection in 300-400 years, the combination is never been like this in the next 2-3 years. So when you ask them what this means, and the same way when you ask the Maharishi Jotish what this means, they say it's a new time, we don't have a reference, but we know it's good. And that's the maximum everyone says. You can make it more good or bad, but basically what it means is we are in a parallel time of transition that is heading to some new port, which references are different. Will be the end of the capitalism as we know? Probably yes. Will be the end of the balance of power as we know? Probably yes. some countries that they are now the number one players, they'll not be, and some countries that they are the players will become. Yes, but that are details in the context of a great new time, and that is what we see. That is what is predicted. And I send you, because I'll send you the Vedic text, so you can see the description of this part of the Puranas about Ramraj and this configuration of grahas.
Thank you.
If you can put that on my Skype after the call, Rajulis, then I'll show that to everyone. That'd be very inspiring. I have a question for you, which is that we started getting more detailed predictions from the Council of Maharshi Jotis about different countries in the world as a whole a few years ago, and we noticed with the early predictions that they were pretty scary. Some terrible things predicted, like there was going to be war in Korea and so on, and then we all had a huge focus on building up bigger yagyas to solve specific problems, and actually many of those things got mitigated and came out to be not so bad, or suddenly, like with Korea, there was just this sudden transformation from a situation that looked like it was heading for war. So obviously the power of Maharshi Yagya, and you've spoken at the Guru Purnima celebration and more recently about these fantastic opportunities for having many, many more large groups of 10,000, reaching that number, performing the Ati Rudra Abhishek on a regular basis. When you're saying these things, is that taken into account? Because at first the Jotishis weren't taking into account. They were kind of scaring us, then we'd all get active and it wouldn't be so bad. Is everything going to be even better than what you're saying because of the influence of Maharshi's TM and TM City program in the world and the Maharshi Yagya? Or have you already taken that into account in how you've described everything to us? Did I make that clear, I hope?
Yes. There is a discourse between Parashara and Bhrigu in some of the sutras of the Vedas, where one tells to the other, when you do a prediction, are you building already in the prediction all the tapasya, all the yoga, all the transcendence, all the yagya that the person will do in order to mitigate the grahas? And Parashara says yes. So that means when we are doing a prediction, if the Jotish is clear enough, he can calculate already the element of transformation that is going to happen on the chart due to the yagya. It is included, and it's seen in some of the babas and the yogas on the chart, that so much power will come with this baba and this graha and this yoga. It will neutralize the tendency. In this case, it is true that the Jotishis at the beginning, when we were making the predictions, they were not counting the element. Then we told them, they were all saying, this war, this terrorism. You remember this, as you said, very difficult. But when we include, like we are including now, this other element, you have a more balanced prediction. So in the prediction that we are mentioning now, we are including this element. But the thing is, it's an ongoing element. Like there was a time that it was difficult to have a few pandits doing well yagyas. There was a time that we had some. Then there was the big effort done in the Brahmastan and to have the Ati Rudra and the national yagyas. And then there is now a time that every day, virtually every day or every week, a new door is opening to expand the program and to increase it in a very fast speed. And that fast speed, even if it is, with some difficulties or some delays, in its total momentum, it's invincible. Even if the transformation has in itself, we know it's different, the mechanism of transformation through the group coherence than the mechanism through the yagya. They do differently the transformation in well consciousness. The groups of coherence, they pacify, they calm, in the same way that when we boil milk and it's almost going to boil and we put a few drops of cold water and then it becomes lesser, more peaceful, it doesn't boil out. But the yagyas for world peace, they do the opposite. They shake, they remove, they enter. So whenever the yagya is combined with the yoga, we see turbulence and transformation getting faster, getting stronger, but then suddenly such positive value. That's the combination of how it works when we do Maharishi Yagya and Maharishi group of coherence together. It is a combination of calming down tendencies and becoming more peaceful and increasing the transformation at the same time. When we are making these comments, we are including already that element to say that gradually that element is imposing its prevalence over the most difficult trends, which, by the way, we see them and we all get worried. It's not that we don't see them, but they are balanced by this positive effect.
That's beautiful. Thank you. That's very clear. And what it means also is that we don't relax on anything in terms of doing our group program and everything that's built in, but we still have to do it in order to...
No, please, absolutely. We affect... See, one time they asked Maharishi, we were in a place where they have a big drought. And the drought was so deep. And they asked Maharishi what to do. He said, it is the thinking of the people that creates the weather. It is the thinking of the people that makes the weather to be the way it is. The environment is a big issue now, huge. And we are specializing now much more in starting very sophisticated environmental yagyas in order to balance the prakritis, the 8 prakritis that they are involved in the weather and the environment in the world. It's a new program that we are launching. But it is very, very important if we think and we take responsibility making the groups and making the yagyas and do all that we can, and larger groups, larger yagyas, then we are creating the basis for these predictions to be very, very successful.
That's brilliant. It's a huge relief, isn't it, for all of us here to hear that there's a new special program for the environment, because, you know, we've had the Cold War, we've had so many threats of this and that, but actually probably the environment is the major issue for the survival of the human race. We can easily...
It is. Any program of world peace now has to consider a very deep and sophisticated approach to environment, and that now is being prepared.
I was just reading last night an article that summarized the military power of all the major nations in the world, and millions of, you know, planes and tanks and men under arms. But it's all irrelevant if nature gets angry with us for violating her laws. All that's not going to defend against that. So we have to work on the level of consciousness. It's so beautiful that Maharishi, in this age, brought the knowledge of the transcendent to the world, which is what's driving all of this.
That is, Raya Peterji, so a crucial point. And one thing that is, we did try twice, this is called Maharishi Asta Prakriti Yagya. Very special yagya. It's described, and Maharishi guided how to prepare it and how to do it. And we did one with an experience with the Pandits, and we took an area that was in severe drought for 5 years, and there was no any expectation of improvement, and just 18 days changed all the balance, and many places where they had not rained in 5-10 years immediately came in a surprising amount in a very balanced way, not in a flat or in an unbalanced way. And that built the Pandits' confidence, and they said, we are able to take care of this well and keep it as a garden and keep it well. So this is this is our duty, all of us together, our Maharishi Vedic Pandits and all the people that has time and dedication to create invincibility and coherence. They can express their love for everyone, making this world better.
As you speak, Rajulis, we feel our hearts expanding and our inspiration increasing. It's so beautiful. It's so hopeful and such. it's real. It's not something just hopeful. It's actually really getting to grips with the situation. It makes us also, reminds us how important it is what every single individual does, what we do to join group program and what we do to support the pundits. Everything all adds up. We have another question for you here, if that's all right.
Yes.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev, Raja Luis. Buenas tardes, buonasera.
Buenas tardes, Jai Gurudev.
So I felt such wonderment and joy. I'm sure we all felt it when you described to us this totally unique way of looking at analyzing and delving into the relationships between the countries of the world. And the thought came to me that, I'm sure I wasn't alone in this, that this is the fulfillment of the laudable goals of the United Nations. And that we have heard from Rishi from the very beginning that Jotish is there to dispel the clouds on the horizon. And on the level of the world theater, we're so grateful to you today for presenting us, as Raja Peter so always gracefully and eloquently said, that we have great hope. And Jai Gurudev e mille grazie.
Give thanks to Maharishi. We always give because he and all the Vedic tradition through him, he told us, even that the Raja Peter can tell you, he knows better, he explains much nicer than me, that Maharishi at the end, when we were preparing the Towers of Invincibility, said very big importance to the element of Jotish. He said to give great importance to the element of Jotish, effectively for that, to give us the foresight and the insight to be able to do all that is possible to make this beautiful well of ours to keep together and grow. And okay, we are seeing events here and there. We all experience tensions. We all experience concerns. This Shani and Ketu in Dhanus in this moment, they bring fear. But at the same time, when their guru starts to be more strong, give us confidence in consciousness. And the well, through all the efforts of all of you, through the blessings of whatever Maharishi created, all these Vedic technologies, is equipped with all that is needed to maintain a perfect well and to maintain a beautiful life everywhere. And that is the gift of the Vedic tradition, and that is Maharishi's gift to everyone. And that is why what we are enjoying is just his gifts for all of us, and our duty, what it is, just to share the joy with others. That's our duty.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, Raja Luis, so inspiring.